Welcome, everybody. It is the 11 o'clock Friday class. I can't believe the week is almost gone. And today is level 3, book number 336, Beautiful Ballads. Today's song is on page 12. It's called Almost Paradise from the movie Footloose, okay? Which was one of those 80s things and just a lot of fun. Um, this was by singers Mike Reno of the Canadian band Loverboy and Ann Wilson of Heart, and I believe they were from Seattle. Music is by, which I found very interesting, the music is by Eric Carmen and Dean Pritchard. Where have we seen Eric Carmen before? He did our song like 2 weeks ago, and he actually performed it all by myself. That was an Eric Carmen hit song, but he also wrote this one. Wow, pretty cool. This was one of 3 top 10 hits from the movie Footloose. This one peaked at number 7, and it spent 13 weeks in the top 10. The other 2, in case you was wondering, would be Footloose by Kenny Loggins and Let's Hear It for the Boy by Denise Williams, both of which went to number 1. Well, they were the dance tunes. This was the love theme. So, yeah, but it was nice that three songs out of that movie went right to the top. It was used with success in popular soap operas, by the way, All My Children, Guiding Light, and Santa Barbara. It was also used in the 3rd season of reality TV, Bachelor in Paradise. I've never seen any one of those. I think I tuned in once just for about this long and went, you got to be kidding me. So crazy things, but this was one of those songs that they used for the theme, Almost Paradise. All right, now, it is level 3. Because there are 2 singers singing this, you are going to want to find a background that you can use the top keyboard and the bottom keyboard. Let's get this situated so you can see that bottom keyboard a little better. Top keyboard and bottom keyboard is really all you need. Find the right rhythm, find a preset that's going to give you these 2, and go. And then you can use the duet button to put the 2 of them together. Or you can layer the one from the bottom keyboard and send it to the top keyboard so that you have both singers on one keyboard when you do the duet. Now, I don't usually do this for this class. I usually save the presets for Monday and Wednesday. But because I had to make a number of changes, I did a very, very easy set of presets for anybody who's a little bit more advanced and would like to carry it a little bit further. And that's okay. If you don't want to do any of these, don't worry about it. You don't need them. Okay? Please feel free to, not think, uh-oh, she's pushing this class too hard. No, we're going to keep it fairly easy. But if you wanted to create the presets, I mean, basically I picked this one, I turned off Orc Plus, and I turned on the duet. Then I turned off the duet. Then I turned on an alter style. Then I turned off the alter style. Then I added an Orchestra Plus. So those were the types of things that I did. And they're one button pushes just because you have to play this several times, and you don't want it to be boring. So if you're starting to do some arrangements, and that's what this class is about, is starting to do some arrangements, the only thing you have to do is find the right rhythm, find a preset, and go. And if you wanted to press other presets, you could. That works too. All right? Or you can follow something a little bit. Just, I'm not pushing you too hard on this one.
So we won't see it until it's on Patreon?
Unless you contact me. If you email me at 5028@fletchermusic.com, I will scan it to you right after the class.
Okay.
See? It makes
I'll
it
do
easy.
this.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. What key are we in? That is the number one thing. What key are we in? And why is it important?
E.
Which key are we in?
G.
Mm,
G.
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 We're in the key of G. I figured, but keep going. We'd only have 5 letters in the alphabet. We are in the key of G. How do we know that?
Last.
Last chord, not the last note. It's the last chord. 99 times out of 100, the key of the song is the last chord. Now, why is that important for us? Do we need to know the scale? No, we don't. We don't. We're
Intro.
just going to follow
The
everything that's here.
introduction.
The introduction, that's it. That is the only reason we need to know what key the song is in. So that if we're using an introduction, we touch one of the intros, some of you have more than one, and then you activate it by touching that chord. Now in this case, it also happens to be the first chord of the song. So you can use that introduction if you want, and it depends on which rhythm you're choosing. That's the only reason you need to know it's in the key of G. All right, the next thing. Let's do the roadmap. Let's do the roadmap. All right, we've got several different verses here. So we know we're going to end up playing that first page twice. And we have 3 pages. So what I did is I made a copy of that third page and taped it so that I have a trifold. And that just prevents me from having to turn pages back and forth all the time. If it's a song you really love, I really recommend doing that because it just makes it so much easier to play. So we're going to play all of the first page, all of the second page. If you turn the page to 14, the top line, you have your first ending. And then you have 2 dots and a thin line and a thick line. So you're going to make that a color. Where are you going back to?
Beginning.
The beginning.
All the way back to the beginning, correct, because you don't have any dots facing forward. So you assume it just goes right back to the beginning. So after the 4/4 and before the first note is where you would put that color. All right, so now we're going to do verse 2. Verse 2, it seems like perfect love's so hard to find. I'd almost given up, you must have read my mind. And all these dreams I saved for a rainy day, they're finally coming true. I'll share them all with you, 'cause now we hold the future in our hands. And then you have the chorus. Almost paradise, we're knocking on heaven's door. Almost paradise, how could we ask for more? I swear that I can see forever in your eyes. Turn the page, paradise, one measure. Then you're going to skip the first ending. So right before the first ending, I'm going to put a colorful 2. And then I'm going to draw an arrow over the top of the first ending to the second ending. So you play that second ending. Now you keep going because there's the bridge. And in your arms, salvation's not so far away. It's getting closer, closer every day. It's almost. Okay, now where are we going? We have 2 thin lines and some instructions. So make that a color, because you're going back to DS al coda. Go back to the silly sign. Where's the silly sign?
Second page.
Second page, correct. So take your color and make the silly sign that color so you find it easier. Your eyes will most definitely go from blue to blue and find it much easier. So now you're doing the chorus again, almost paradise. And now we're going to look for the 2 coda sign, which means go to the third or final ending. Coda is the tail, the final ending. So again, you're going to play the rest of page 13, the first measure at the top of page 14, and there you have a 2 coda sign. So I'm going to make that a color. And remember, you never go backwards to codas. Codas only send you forwards, and it's always the end of the song. So 2 coda is going to shoot me forward to the coda at the bottom of the page. There's Joanne. She's a little bit late today. Okay. Everybody say, hi, Joanne, you're late.
Hi, Joanne. I'm late too.
It's okay. It's absolutely okay. No
I was
worries.
working on my music.
Are there any questions about the roadmap? Let's do a real fast review. First verse, all of page 1, all of page 2. Turn the page, or maybe you have that third page taped up here. The top line, first 2 measures. That second measure is the first ending. Go all the way back to the beginning and do verse 2. Verse 2, Page 13, there's your chorus. Page 14, first measure, jump over the first ending and go to the second ending. Now you're going to play the bridge, which is in the middle of that third page. At the end of line 3, you have a DSL coda. You're going back to the silly sign, not back to the beginning. The silly sign is the chorus. So the chorus is page 13, beginning of the second line. And if you make it a color, you'll find it faster. Now we're going to play all of 13. Look for the 2 coda sign, which is on that third page. Go down to the last line and do the ending. All right, are we going to add some chords? Yeah, we are. Why? Because we can. Are they hard? Most of them are very easy. I am going to add a 2 add 9 chords. There are 3 fingers and they're very easy to play. Now, if you do not feel like playing the add 9s, just play the letter. That's all you need. Remember, everything that I put in, and I do mean everything, is optional. Optional, optional, optional. You don't have to do it. You can just pick a rhythm, choose a rhythm preset, and play, and be 100% successful with this song. But I do have extra chords for those of you who like to push yourself just a little bit more. So here we go. Extra chords. Page 12, top line. The G chord is good for 2 counts. Beat 3. Over the D, 8th note for the word dreams, put a D, dinosaur. Plain old D. Second measure, the E minor, can be an E minor 7, but that makes it a 3-fingered chord. You don't need it. You do need to play E and G, which is the E minor. If you wish to play E minor 7, it is D, E, and G for 2 counts. Beat 3, which is over the quarter rest. Looks like the lightning. You're going to put a D or a D add 9. D add 9 is a 3-fingered chord. All right. D is just your D. Add 9 is E and F. D, E, I'm sorry, F sharp. D, E, F sharp. D, E, F sharp. And it'll say in your window, D add 9. Here's the difference in sound. Here's the D. Here's the D add 9. It just gives it a little bit more flair. Second line, first measure. The C can be just a plain old C, or it can be a C add 9. A, D, D, 9. As in additional. It's, again, a 3-fingered chord. Your notes are C, chicken, D, dinosaur, and E, elephant, right in a row. That's also a nice jazz chord for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the D, 8th note for the word close is a plain old G, gorilla. The A7 and the D7 are fine. Remember, 7s are optional. You don't need them. If you want to play the A7, it is G and A. And the D7 is C and D. It's always the letter minus 2 to make your 7 chords. But since they are above the box, the 7s are always optional. Third line, the G can be just a G.
Black.
Go ahead.
What then?
It just went black.
Really?
Okay. I'm
Maybe a battery.
All right, I just hit mute all. You can unmute yourself anytime. Third line, the G can be just a G, or it can be a G add 9, ADD 9. 3-fingered chord, and yes, you're going to have to get your hand a little bit out of position. Your notes are G, A, alligator, B, butterfly. Those 3 notes all in a row. Again, just some beautiful jazz chords, nice for the 80s songs that we do. That's good for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the D, 8th note for the word heart. Put a D, dinosaur. the E minor, E and G. If you wish, you can put a 7 on it. All right? And then if you put the 7 on it, it's a 3-fingered chord. D, E elephant, G gorilla for 2 counts. Over the rest, beat 3, put a plain old D, dinosaur. Line 4. The C chord is good for 2 counts, just a plain old C. Beat 3, over the D 8th note for lone, you may put a G, gorilla, or a G add 9, which is G-A-B, gab, G-A-B. Last measure on that page, first beat, over the G for the word how, put a plain old C, chicken. Cross out the B and replace it with G, gorilla, or G, add 9, G-A-B. Here it is again. All right, top of the next page. First line, the C is good for 2 counts. Now we're going to have one for beat 3 and one for beat 4. Beat 3, over the B for the word own, only, put a G, gorilla. And over the G for the word need, now we're going to change that note too, by the way. But your chord is going to be B, that's beat 4. So C is for beats 1 and 2, G is for beat 3, and B butterfly is for beat 4. And once I change the notes in the right hand, you'll say, that makes a lot of sense. First line, second measure. You're going to have 4 chords. 1 per beat. All right, over the E, put an E minor. Second beat, put a G gorilla. Third beat, over the E for O, put a C chicken. And then either over, you can do either beat 4 or beat 4.5. So either over the G for almost or over the A for most, put a D dinosaur. Or not. You can skip that last one if you really want. Let's go to line 2. The G is good. Now, second measure. Cross out the E minor. We're going to add 4 chords, 1 per beat. Beat 1 is a D dinosaur. Beat 2 over the B for door. There's your E minor, E and G. Beat 3, which is over the rest. Go back to the D, dinosaur. And beat 4 over the G 8th note. Go back to an E minor. So it's pretty easy. D, E minor, D, E minor. Third line, the G chord is good for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the rest, put a D dinosaur. Beat 4 over the G, go back to the G. So it's G for 2 counts, D, G. Next measure, cross out the E minor and replace it with D dinosaur for 2 counts. Over the G dotted quarter note for the word more, put in your E minor, E and G. Last line on that page, the C chord is good for 2 counts. Over the E for C, beat 3, put an A minor. A minor is C and A. Alligator minor. Last line, last measure on that page, cross out the D and replace it with C, chicken, for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the C for the word eyes. Now put your D or D7 back in. D is just 4th finger on D, D7 is pinky and for C and D. Turn the page. Cross out the very first G and replace it with a C, chicken, for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the D for dice. Put your G back in. First ending, cross out the D and replace it with E minor, elephant minor, for 2 counts. Beat 3, put your D7 back in, dinosaur 7. The bridge, let's go to line 3. The E flat's good, the C's good, the E flat's good, the C's good. Line 3, second measure, the C is good for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the A for day, put a D, dinosaur, and over the G for all, almost, put a C, chicken. Let's go to the coda. The E minor is good for 2 counts. Beat 3 is a D7, dinosaur 7, C and D. Cross out the G and put a C, chicken, for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the D for dice, put your G back in, gorilla. Next measure, you're going to have 4 chords, so write small. D, the D is the first one. Beat 2 is an E minor, elephant minor, E and G. Beat 3 is an A minor, C and A. And beat 4 is a D, dinosaur. Next measure, cross out the G and replace it with C, chicken. And beat 3 over the D for dice. Now put your G back in because that is the key of the song. That's your last chord. Okay, questions? I will get to fingering in a minute, but I think
Could you
I
do
want to
the
play.
second line? Excuse me. Could you do the second line on page 14 again?
Yes, second line, E flat and C, no changes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I can almost talk.
Yeah.
Dawn,
Anybody else?
on first line of page 13,
Uh-huh.
you added a B chord. Which note was that over?
That's actually, we're going to change the note. It's the first measure, beat 4. And that's the G over the word need, but we're going to put the B chord there, but we're going to change a couple notes there.
Gotcha.
So I'll go over that when we do fingering. I'll change the notes at the same time I do the fingering.
Dawn,
Yeah.
on page 14, this first line, second measure, could you do the chord?
Cross out the D chord and replace it with E minor, elephant minor, for 2 counts.
Okay.
And the third beat is D7, dinosaur 7.
Okay, good. I got it.
Okay.
I had it right. I just wanted to be sure.
Just, yep, not a problem. It's better to check. Better to
Dawn,
check.
could you go over that last line again?
Most definitely. Coda. The first measure, E minor, is good for 2 counts. Beat 3 in the first measure is a D, dinosaur, or D7. Cross out the G and replace it with plain old C, chicken, for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the D quarter note for dice. Now put your G back in. Oh, here comes Judy. Then the next measure, you're going to have 4 chords. D dinosaur, E minor, beat 2, A minor, beat 3, and plain old D, beat 4. And the last measure, cross out the G and replace it with C, chicken, for 2 counts, and beat 3 on that last D quarter note, put a G, gorilla.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Anybody else? Okay, all right. I am going to play it, and I am using soft rock at 69 or 70, 68, whatever. I just picked 69, I don't know why. And I'm using rhythm preset or vintage or normal number 9, which gives me 2 guitars. And there's a flute on the bottom. Now you can play the whole thing from there. One singer can be here, one singer can be here, and then you can just put your duet on when you want to have the 2 singers singing together.
Hey, Dawn,
We'll go over that. Yes, Ramon?
Yes, go over that again.
Okay. Soft rock, which is under your rock and roll, 69 beats a minute, normal or rhythm preset number 9, where I've got guitars up here and a flute down here. Now it says get 2 guitars. I'm turning the duet off. We'll turn that back on later when they both come in together.
Dawn,
Yeah.
on page 12, first page, third line,
Uh-huh.
the duet, does the duet go there?
Nope. The duet does not come in until the chorus, which is the
Oh.
top of page 13, Almost Paradise.
Oh, okay.
Now, what happens on the third line is you're going to see my hand go from one singer to another. So I'm going to go from
Oh.
top keyboard to lower keyboard.
Oh, okay,
Okay? And then
okay.
there is one point in the song, if you want to make it a little harder, where I do actually combine this keyboard with this keyboard. All I'm doing is telling the command to go to the upper instead of to the lower.
Oh, oh.
And then I'm
Oh.
combining both of them and using the duet, and then it sounds like I've got, both singers
Oh,
on one.
okay.
So there are several things you can learn from this just on how to manipulate your keyboard. This is a duet. Now, if you don't want to play it as a duet, you don't have to. You can play it just as a beautiful song with or without your duet. You can choose a different preset if you want. You can just go from top keyboard to bottom keyboard if you want. It's your song. Find a real pretty background and go. Now, what happens if you don't have soft rock? What else could you use? Top ballad is very good for those of you that have it, but any of your soft and easies are going to be fine. And those of you that have the smaller instruments, like the Easy 4s and Easy 10s, I tried the rock full band and even slowed down. It just was a little heavy. So your smooth full band actually works beautifully on this, and you actually get the piano strings on top, and that's really a pretty combination. That'll work absolutely fine with this.
What was the last rhythm you mentioned?
Smooth full band.
Smooth flow band.
Huh? And I'm at 69. But don't be afraid to try others, because there are going to be others on your instrument that you go, yeah, I think this will work too.
Mhm.
With or without an intro. Now, you can just start playing if you want. Just hit that G chord. Sometimes, if I don't like what's happening in the intro, and I'm going to tell you why I'm not using an intro here. Intro 1 on soft rock introduces this. Whoops. Let's set it up again. It's too long and drawn out, and it introduces another song. Intro 2, now you got to remember, I'm also turning off the Orchestra Plus to start. That introduces another song. That does not introduce this song. So if you like the background but you don't like your intros, how can you start the song? 2 things. You can just touch your chord and let it go a couple of rounds. That's a fine introduction right there. Or you can do a no chord and just let your drums go until you're ready to go. And if you wanted to do a little drum solo to get you into it, then you do the fill in. And I'm going to get this down here so you can see my top and lower keyboard. Now my head's cut off, but that's okay. See how that just gives you enough of a drum kick to get you into your song. So a no chord with a drum solo, just make sure you start on the first beat. Okay, so that's how I'm going to start this. And I am going to change some notes. But we'll go through that when I do the fingering. Right now, let's see. Yep, I've got foot switch. I've got my foot switch on the kick switch, so it will go from one to another. And no, you don't have to do any of this, but it is there for you if you like it. All right, let's do this. let's just start the whole thing over. Maybe Robert can erase that part from the recording. Again, those intros and endings are not going to do this song any justice. So I'm just going to fade it out. Okay. Did I make it a little bit harder? I did, yeah. But you don't have to do that. You can put it on soft and easy, easy 4/4, put it on 69, put it on strings and, whoops, that's not where it was supposed to go. You can put it on strings and flutes, pianos and strings, I mean, and just play. Song. And it's all, if you want to put it on a duet, when it gets to the chorus, you can do that. That would be the only thing I would add, would be go ahead and add the duet when it gets to the chorus when you have the two singers singing together. So you don't have to make it with alter style and putting all that extra stuff in, but I happen to like the song a lot, so I wanted to put in some extra stuff. And you can totally ignore all my extra stuff if you want. Okay. Questions about the roadmap, because I followed it exactly. Did we get the roadmap?
Yep.
Okay, good. As long as we got the roadmap, you're successful today. Absolutely excellent. All right, let's do, I'm going to change some notes and I am going to do the fingering at the same time. All right? So let's do this. First note, we're going to change it. So instead of having a D, make it a G gorilla on the second line and make it a 1. All right, the B is a 2, C3, D4, D4, E5, B3. Look out for that one. You might want to put a little arrow on that one. A2, G1, G1. Now, the next low D, we're going to cross it out and make it a high D on the 4th line. And you're going to make it a 4 finger. And that's going to be a lot easier to play because you're coming from here, you're going up to that high E. So why would you want to go all the way down here? Don't do that. Just use the high D. Okay? So that D on the 4th line at the end of the line is going to be a 4. The next line, E5, E5, E5. Cross out the D and change it to a B butterfly just underneath it. Make it a 2. Make the next D over the word close. Make it a 4. And cross out the E if you want. You can play it with the 5th finger if you want. Or you can cross it out and throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
The low D, cross him out. Again, we're getting rid of that low D. And replace it with a B butterfly right in that middle line. Make it a 3. Because we're going to a B again, so makes it easier. B3, let's do the fall apart again. B3, A2, A2, G1. Put a little arrow on this next note, make it an A4, F sharp 3, and between the F sharp and the D, you're going to put an E elephant right in between. Okay, so that's going to be F sharp 3, E2, D1.
Dawn,
Yes.
could you go back to the first measure of that line?
Yep. E, E, E,
It's
5, 5, 5.
Uh-huh.
Cross out the D and make it a B butterfly right underneath it with a 2 finger. Make the D a 4 on the word close. The
Okay.
E can be a 5, or you can cross it out and throw it away completely. The low D you're going to cross out. Why do you want to go all the way down there? And use a B butterfly on the 3rd line and make it a 3 finger.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I know that line is a little dicey, and the top line on the next page gets a little dicey too. But this is the way they originally sang it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now, at the beginning of line 3, if you want to put an L, you can put an L. That means go to your lower keyboard, because that's your second singer. That's Ann Wilson down here. And I don't care which octave you play it in. Either octave is going to be fine, so you choose the octave that works for you. Cross out the first B and put a G right underneath it.
Dawn,
Yes.
may I ask you something?
Yes.
When you said to put the lower keyboard,
Uh-huh.
and you didn't care which octave, but
Correct.
if you go to the one that is closer to the center, then the note won't play.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will. Because your split is not until F sharp.
Oh,
The
okay,
G is actually the very first note that plays.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And the sound is going to be a lot lower. Is it easier to go from here to here? Yes, it is. But the lowest note we have is going to be the first note that actually is on top of that split.
Oh, okay.
But the sound is a weaker. So you might want to go up the octave. All right, now I'm changing a couple notes there too. And again, play it the way you sing it. That's the best advice I can ever give you.
Okay.
So cross out that first B and make it a G right underneath with a 1. The B is a 2, C3, D4, D4, E5, B3, 3, and then we're going to put a little G right after that, a low G, and make it a 1. And technically then the B and the G are going to be 16th notes, so you might want to connect them with a double flag, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. You play it the way you know it. The A is a 2, and G1, G1. So that whole line sounds like this. Okay. Now that next low G, cross it out and go up to a D, the first D under the staff. D dinosaur. Make it a 3. Let's go to line 4. E4, E4, E4. D3, D3. E4. Check mark. Now you also want to put a U plus duet. Upper and add duet. This is actually where they start singing together. And Sue Kelly, I told you wrong. I said you actually started it here. But you actually can start the duet if you want down here. Oh, how could I have known?
Okay. Oh, okay.
So you can start your duet there. Otherwise, you can wait and start it on the second line of the second page where the chorus starts.
Okay.
All right? So you choose which one is easiest for you. But go to your upper keyboard again. And it's G3, G3, G3.
Dawn?
Yes?
Before you start that measure, did you give us a number for the high D in the first measure, the last?
Yes, it's a 1.
Oh, okay.
It's a 1. Yep.
Okay.
I probably skipped it. Thank you.
In what?
I probably skipped it.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
thank you. Thank you for calling me on that one.
So is
It's
that
a
a,
1.
how can you go
Yeah.
from 4 to 1?
Yeah, because you put a check mark. You're actually, because
duh.
you're going from 4 here to 1 here.
Of
Because you're
course.
changing keyboards too.
Of course.
So now you're doing G3, 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 A4. You can skip the next A and play B5. It's written like this. And that's okay too. But your A's are 4s and your B is a 5. I play it the way I sing it. The low D, it's on the 4th line, is a 1. Let's go to the top of the second page. G3, 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 A4, B5. Now here's where we're going to change some notes. So G is fine. Cross out the next G and make it an F sharp, right where you made that B chord. That's where you want the F sharp. And the G over the word ed, need ed, you're going to cross that one out and make it an E on the top space.
Okay.
And my writing is real messy here. That's why I never could read it. So that first measure again is G3, 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 A4, B5, G3, F sharp 2, E1, next measure E1. Now the whoa for the C, cross it out and throw it away. And if you want, you can put a rest there.
Okay.
Then the next E is a 1, G2, G2, A3. This is where I added an alter style for those of you who are going to follow presets. And all it did is give it a little kick because it is the chorus. Or if you did not put a duet on down here, this is the place you would want to add a duet. C5, B4, B4, D1, C5, B4, A3, G2, A3, B4, B4. G2, A3. Third line, C5, B4, B4. G2, A3, A3, A3. Cross out the next A, make it a B right above it, make it a 4. The G is a 2. If you want to leave it an A, that's fine. Check mark right after that G. New phrase. The last G on the line is a 4. Let's go to the last line on the page. F sharp 3, E2, E2, D1. Put a little arrow on the next E, make it a 4. D dinosaur is 3. C2, B1. D3, E4, C2. Turn the page. E4, D3, D3. We're almost done. Last page, second line. B flat, 1. E flat, 2. See, we have to break the rules here. F3, G4, F3, F3, D2, F4, E3, E3, D2. Now you're going to put a little E in between those two Ds. Make it a 3. D2 and C1. So between the two Ds, you've got an E. Third line, B flat 1, E flat 2, F3, G4, G4. Check mark. By the way, beginning of line 2, you want to put an L. Go to the lower keyboard. Right here, after it's getting closer, you want to go back to the upper keyboard, where you probably already still have your duet on, because that's what you're looking for, is a duet for closer every day. G2, 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 A3, 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 G2, A3. And the coda, whatever fingers you want. I did E4, D3, D3, and E4, D3, D3, but you use whatever fingers you want, because you're at the end of the song. Okay, I'm going to play it one more time with the arrangement. And yeah, I've got messy writing in here, because I did all kinds of goofy things. And then re-simplified it for you guys, so I'm trying to keep it easy as possible. Now remember, you don't need any of my additions. You can just pick a rhythm and play and just have a great time with it. The fingering is, and the extra chords, try the extra chords. I think you'll like them. You don't need to add 9s, but you know, I put a lot of major chords in there, that one finger chords that you can play to push yourself just a little bit. If you're not ready for them, don't worry about them. Don't play them. Just play what's there. The key is finding the right music style. This is the whole key. If you find the right music style, then you're just singing along with the radio. And that's what we're always looking for. All right, I like to do this. right,
Dawn,
follow along? Yeah.
question
No.
for you. On page 12, last line, second measure,
Yeah.
did I see you go up to the upper keyboard there in the second measure?
Yes. Yes. You need to put a
Okay.
U there. Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yep.
okay,
You need to put a U there. That's where you go to the upper keyboard. Yes.
okay.
Dawn, what was the instrument that you added about halfway through? Is it flute up on the
Oh.
top?
Yes. What I did is I had guitars here and flute here, which is how it comes up on Soft Rock Rhythm Preset 9. And all I did was tell the command, find where your flute is coming from. Remember, your flutes are being sent to the lower. It's probably in your solo section. And just tell the command to put it in your upper keyboard. You don't have to turn anything off. Just command it to go to the upper keyboard as well, so that you're layering the flute with the guitar. And that's what you heard, is then both singers finally ending up together on the same time.
Where did you do that?
I did that when I went back to the silly sign.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Mhm. I think I did that when I went back to the silly sign and played the chorus for the very last time. Now you can do that on the second verse if you want. Do whatever you want with this because it is your song. But if you follow the instructions here, okay, so where are my, this is just for those people that are going to do extra presets. A1 is at the beginning of the song. A2 is the first page, line 4, between the first and second measure. Oh, how could I have known? That's A2.
That's where you went to the upper keyboard.
Correct.
Yep.
And added
Correct. A3, comma, A5 is at the beginning of line 2, right where the silly sign is.
Oh, wait a minute, line 2 on second page?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Right where the silly sign is, that's where the chorus technically starts. A3, comma, A5, because you have to go back to it again.
Okay.
Now let's go to the next page. At the end of the first ending, you're going to put A4.
Oh, okay.
So that A4 is going to take you all the way back to the beginning.
Oh. Gotcha.
A5 then kicks in at the silly sign.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then when you play at the second time, your A6 is going to be third page, third line, between the first and second measure.
That's where we go to the upper keyboard too.
Correct. That is
Okay.
also where you go back to the upper keyboard. You want to go to A6.
Okay.
Okay. And then that'll take you, then you go back to the silly sign, you're on A6.
Mhm.
And you play A6 until you get to the 2 coda. When you go to the coda, then you go to A7, which is basically where I took everything off
I see.
and played it at
Oh.
a softer. So I built the arrangement and then I brought it right back down.
Dawn, A7 goes on page 14 to the
The
first
coda.
line to the 2 coda.
Last line, the coda.
Oh, all right.
Last line, yep. A7 goes on the coda.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
2 coda.
Now
Right.
remember, this is level 3. I certainly don't need level 3 people complaining, Robert, she's pushing us too hard. Please don't do that. This is this is just because I really truly had a nice time with this song, and I thought I would just tell you where I made my changes and what changes I made. It's pretty easy, but you don't have to do any of this. Like I said, if you can just pick a rhythm preset and pick something here and play and just enjoy the song. You don't even have to go upper and lower if you don't want. If you just want to play everything on an upper keyboard, that would be fine. Keep it easy for yourself until your fingers get comfortable with knowing where they're going. Then you can add all this extra stuff. Do I have any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
On page 13, the second line,
Huh?
I got a phone call when you were doing the fingering. Could you
Okay.
just give me the fingering?
Yep, page 13, second line, C5, B4, B4, D1, C5, B4, A3, G2, A3, B4, B4, end of the line, G2, A3. You need anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Perfect.
I missed the whole line.
No worries. No worries. Yep. Okay. next week. And I Love You So. Now that's Don McLean. Beautiful song. We have done that in several books before, but we're going to do it again because it is fabulous. It's just a beautiful song. And I keep it as simple as possible. And if you want extra things, you can always add anything extra that I add, but you don't have to.
Oh, I
All
love
right,
it.
email me if you need me, 5028@fletchermusic.com. Questions or comments, I'm going to read all these nice chats. I never get a chance to do that. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much. And I will see you all again in the next class.
Dawn, that was a great
Thank-
song. Oh my
That
God.
is a beautiful song. This is a great book. You guys
I
chose
love
an
it.
excellent book.
I love
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dawn.
You're welcome. I'm just reading the chats. You guys are the bestest.
So are you.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.